My name's Michael Wise. This is BalletWise. And you know what? If you're new to the channel, we welcome you and we'd like for you to stay and hear about our conversation. Ballet is one of these things that I've spent my entire life in it. And I come from a time period where artistry was as important as your technique. And in some cases, more. Now, of course, you don't want somebody with great artistry and have horrible technique. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is there were times within the ballet history where the dramatic ability, the fact that you could really tell the story of the character mattered almost as much as whether you hit that fifth position. But today, let's look at the fact that I feel like we're losing some of it. I'm not saying there aren't brilliant dancers out there that have incredible artistic talent, because we all know there are. But is the ballet world becoming colder? Are we moving in a direction where artistry isn't as important? Ballet requires multiple components. And yes, the technical side is very important, but it's like a three-legged table. The first leg is technique, but there are two other legs. It can't stand on its own with just one leg. One of the other legs is artistry. And in a lot of ways, it's got to support its own weight. It's got to be able to carry things. And then finally, the last thing, that's you, that's me, that's all of us. It's our personalities. It's our special skills. It's what do we bring to it? Because remember, art is an expression of emotion. What technique allows us to do is express those emotions. But without the technique, our emotions are just bleh, all over the place. And we all know that's not the prettiest thing. But what I want us to start talking about is, I don't think it's the dancer's fault. Are we developing students because technique is becoming so important? Because we as dancers, today's dancers, are technically far beyond where we were in the past. Students and dancers today technically are far cleaner all around the world. So I don't want to take away from that, because we've come a long way in a rather short amount of time. But have we lost something? Is it up to the ballet teachers? Is it up to the artistic directors? Is it up to the choreographers? Who really is the one that is causing these changes? I feel like, and this is my personal belief, that's why I want you, let me know what you think. Because I feel like it's a death through 1,000 cuts. I feel like today's choreography is moving away from telling a story because all they want to showcase is the way the body moves and the steps they represent. And I'm not saying that there isn't a place for that. But I feel like a lot of choreography these days are moving more and more into a colder, more clinical, because technique has become something so important in how that movement is done that we don't want an individual dancer to stand out because they show more emotion, more personality. But yet then we turn around and we yell at that dancer because they aren't giving us emotion and personality. Are we moving away from telling the story? Are we no longer the artist that's portraying the part, not just the technique? Are we telling stories with what we're doing? Or are we just pawns or puppets within the realm of the choreography? Are companies grooming dancers not to have feelings, or to focus so much on the technique that if you don't emote or you do not project, that's okay? I see a little bit of all of this. But I want to be honest, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not looking in the right places. Like I said, I'm from a generation where artistry was just as important as the technique, in some cases, more. I was a principal dancer in the Moscow Classical Ballet. First American ever to do anything like this. But the reason why is because I could act. I could convey emotion. And to be quite honest, I was better at that than doing the technique. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was a poorly trained dancer. I was pretty good. But the reality is, the way I could tell a story with my movement, the way I could convey that emotion, is why I raised up so quickly and why I was a principal dancer. Now, I understand in the court of ballet, we don't necessarily want people to stand out because they're supposed to move in a unit. And I feel like there's a place for that. But your soloist and your principals, they have got to tell the story. But now let's look at other choreography. A lot of the new contemporary ballets. It's more about the movement. It's less about the dancer. It's less about what the dancer can do, and it's more about what the dancer can represent in the movement. But they don't want always the emotion. We're not telling a story because the choreographer wants to showcase just the movement. Now, if we're just showcasing movement, if we're just showcasing technique, we're not artists. We're athletes. So many sports that many of us probably have watched, which would be gymnastics and ice skating, have changed. And they now represent that understanding of a sport more than what they used to represent, which was them doing amazing technical things, but with an artistic flair. Now, you can have skaters go out there and win gold medals and literally just do flawless technique. Is that where we want dance to go? For me, over the years, I've heard people say ballet was dead. And I'm going to argue against that because to me, ballet's alive. It's what we do with it. It's what we say with it. It's what we become within it. Try to tell me that you can't watch Romeo and Juliet and the last scene with the death scene, that you can't feel that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I can't go and watch amazing companies do amazing ballets that don't tell any stories and have no emotion. Because you know what? There are some brilliant choreographers out there, and I do not want to take that away from anyone. But it's okay if we do that some of the time, but if we get to do that more and more of the time, we lose so much. Artistry is a key component in allowing this to become it and stay an art. If we take too much time and just focus on that fifth position and nothing else, how is that an art? I don't want this glorious art form that I've lived in, grown up in, and is still a very important part of my life. I don't want to ever see it turn into a sport. Yes, we jump higher, we turn more, we balance longer. But what I fell in love with was the character creation, being someone else, but using my body to tell that story, because that's where I flourished. And more people are turning into technical phenoms, but they're leaving behind feeling, thinking. They don't believe in it. They don't believe they're that character anymore. Now they're just a person doing a character. Ballet requires us to go down the rabbit hole because then you get to see the best of what the technique can do. I know that the dance world kind of has its own ebbs and flows and we move back and forth. But I want to see us get back to what made ballet what it is and how special it is. I want to see the artistry. I want to see the emotion. I don't want to just see 10 pirouettes. because 10 pirouettes is 10 pirouettes. It doesn't say anything. Now, it's amazing to watch. But after a while, it's just 10 pirouettes. Just like it's just 2 pirouettes. Technique is cold. It's clinical. Ballet isn't. It's alive. It's feeling. It's living. But you have to understand it lives in us. And if we don't bring that out, if we don't convey that what we're doing, then we're pretty much relegating this to a sport. Now remember, I want to hear what you think. I want you to put down, where do you think it's going? Do you think we have a problem? Do we think that the ballet world needs to change and bring back storytelling, character development, emotion, feeling in what we do? There is no right or wrong here. We all see it from different perspectives. Let us know what you think. Because this is a conversation that I think we all need to be having. And I hope that I can just start that conversation. And maybe we can make the changes that we really need to see in the ballet world. So, my name is Michael Wise. This has been BalletWise. Keep dancing, keep feeling, and be the best person you can be. Bye. Hi, it's me again. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And you know what? If you're not a subscriber, click the button. Really? Bye.